Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably obviously looking at ways that you can grow a different revenue stream, create your online courses, or become a key influencer in a particular niche or area by creating an online course. But how can you create a revenue stream from your online courses? Now, if you haven't been to this channel before, welcome. My name is Romney. What I'm going to do is outline 3 key things that you need to consider when you're creating your online courses to help you to generate more revenue. Now, my courses are across various different platforms, and that will be one of the key tips that I'll provide you in a moment. So let's get into what these 3 tips are and how you can start to generate more passive income from creating your online courses so you too can become an online instructor or teacher of a different subject or area of expertise. So the first thing you need to consider is your audience. Now, you may hear of different online course instructors that have made $50,000, even $100,000 upon launch of their online courses. Now, it also depends on the course price, what people are willing to pay for your course, and also the audience you have and their appetite to spend money on courses. Now, you have a few different options. You can host your courses yourself on platforms like Thinkific, Teachable, Kajabi. I personally use Thinkific. In fact, I've made a free course about how to create online courses using Thinkific. So if that's of interest to you, just make sure you check out the links below. But you have various different options for consideration. So what would be my first tip for creating more revenue with online courses? Well, the first thing that I think you need to consider is, do you want to manage the process and develop your own audience on your own platform? There are pros and cons with this, because you could also have your courses on other major platforms like Udemy and Skillshare, and they will host the course for you and they will bring in an audience to help sell your course. The biggest drawback by using other online platforms like a Udemy or Skillshare is that they generally have the control over the pricing of your course. You might have a $200 course, but it might be discounted down to $18. So it becomes a sheer volume activity to generate more revenue. The positive with using course platforms like Udemy and Skillshare, so Udemy has about 54 million users or students on that platform, and they will obviously have a massive email blast that they can send out to students that are interested in your topic or area, and therefore the reach is quite broad, and they will also target a lot of different countries. The last time I looked on my platform, there were students from approximately 40 different countries that were purchasing my course. For me to do that personally, by hosting my course on Thinkific, would be obviously a much larger activity for me to do and probably quite expensive. So it's a hard one to weigh up, because if you've got your courses on Udemy or Skillshare, they might sell for a lot less than the actual value of your 2, 3, 5 hour course. And if you sell it yourself, yes, you might be able to have a premium price, but do you have the reach to get the audience to buy your courses? The way I do it, I tend to have my courses all on Thinkific, but use the subscription option to bundle my courses and provide that as an opportunity for students to purchase all of my courses or to view all of my courses as a subscription model. For $29, they can view all my courses. Then when they stop, the access stops. I can also put my courses onto Skillshare and Udemy, and that will begin to be more of an organic churn of course purchases. And I can see that being a longer term proposition, because they've got such a big marketing activity process they go through to market during Black Friday or what are the other ones? Christmas, post-Christmas, January, all those times that they want to market your courses they can. So it's a way of being able to use these platforms and the strength of them to market and sell your courses. So I've noticed that my revenue stream has been building consistently with using platforms like Udemy and Skillshare. And I'll show you my Skillshare revenue in a moment, just to give you an example of what that is looking like. But in regards to Thinkific, on my course that I provide a lesson and give you a bit of an insight of what my revenue has been for the first 12 months of using that program. So that's something for you to consider. So that's tip number one, is just to consider those platforms that you do have and how you think you might be able to cross-promote your courses on those larger platforms, but also consider hosting it yourself. The one thing I can say about hosting it yourself is that you will need to pay the monthly subscription to host your course. For example, on Thinkific, it's approximately $99 per month on a start plan. If you were to put them on Skillshare or Udemy, there's no monthly charge, but they will take a big chunk, about 50% of each course selling price, and it's a 50-50 split if they generate traffic towards your course. But if you generate traffic towards that course, you get 97% of the course selling price at that time. So your course might be valued $179, but they might sell it for $18. You'll get around about $17.50 if you push traffic to it. Otherwise, it'd be $9 each if it's the 50-50 split if they direct traffic to it. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Let's get on to number two. The second tip that I'll give you to create more money and revenue through your online courses is to start to build up an audience. And you can do that through your own platform like a Thinkific, but it becomes a lot harder to get email addresses, almost impossible, from platforms like Skillshare and Udemy. They don't share that data with you. But you can build up an audience by creating, for example, a YouTube channel. Therefore, your audience can build up, and then if you're launching your courses, you can promote that course to your audience that are on your list. So I use ConvertKit to build my audience. You can use a link below if you haven't checked out ConvertKit, and I've created a course on that as well if you wanted to know how to build your audience. It's been specifically designed towards publishers, but everything is the same for online courses as well, and the way that you can build your audiences and also create landing pages to direct traffic to. But the audience just really helps with a launch of a course once you build it up. And I've now currently got 3 best-selling courses on udemy.com as of January 2023. That may change in the future, but right at this point in time, I do have roughly 5,000 students on Udemy and those 3 best-selling courses. And it's because I generated or created an audience, therefore I could market my new courses to that existing audience, and that audience continues to grow as more people, say, view my YouTube videos or download resources and things like that. So that's another tip to obviously sell more courses, is to generate a separate way of bringing traffic in that you can then market out to, and that takes a bit of time. So therefore, when you're launching your first course, it may be a bit slow to get going. Unless you have any pre-existing audience, you can do that too. Perhaps a platform like Udemy or Skillshare could be the best way to develop your first couple of courses and then have a premium course that sits on a platform like Thinkific. So let's get on to tip number 3. So the third tip that I'd like to provide you to generate more income would be to have a clear path of communication with your students. I find that when I'm communicating well with my students on both my Thinkific site, but also on sites like Udemy and Skillshare, if you do have that communication with them, I've noted that a student may purchase one course, they might ask me a question. If I get back to them within a reasonable time frame, then they see that I'm an active participant, an active instructor on that platform, and they then go and buy a second course. And I've got plenty of students that have purchased all 7 of my courses that are on Udemy. So they become repeat clients. And that's what you need to build, that trust between you as an instructor and the student or the client or customer. you need to build that link between you. And when you do, you can therefore generate that trust, and they love your courses. They love the interaction, and they're more likely to buy more courses from you. So that's another great way to continue to build up your audience, build that connection, and build more revenue by having repeat clients or customers or students that will buy your course. And I've found that as well. So let's finally just jump onto, say, my Skillshare account. I'll show you some revenue that I've been generating there. And if you wanted to check out the revenue from my Thinkific site for the first 12 months of hosting some courses, then make sure you check out the link below to my Thinkific online course, which is free if you go through the Thinkific site. And that's a great way of learning how to build your own course. And if you use the Thinkific link that's there under my name, then you do get an exclusive short course as well, where I highlight the extra tips to build your monthly revenue to $10,000. So the details are in the course outline, which I provide in that course as well. So let me quickly jump onto my Skillshare account and I'll show you some of that revenue that I've been generating. So you can see that in total so far, I've earned over $28,500. However, if you look at the stats back here, I only started in March of 2022. So it's been less than 12 months since I've done that. And you can see the first few months was big. Skillshare have now made a change in their teacher payments where they actually have a pool of money. So in January 2023, they've got $1.1 million that they're going to share across all of the instructors on Skillshare based on the number of minutes watched. I've actually found there's been a drop of around about 50% in my revenue from that. I'm hoping they might change that in the future to go back to their original model, but so far there hasn't been any changes. However, still generating 1,182 for November, and then I'm expected to get, it's usually the higher end for me, so probably about another $1,150 for the month of December for earnings, and then it'll go into January. So that's just an indication of what is possible in less than 12 months for online course creation using Skillshare. And you can see I've had over 3,000 students on one of those courses as well. So I've put my courses onto Skillshare, Udemy, and I've also got them bundled up for students to subscribe with my own platform with Thinkific. So hopefully that helps you. So I hope you found that information helpful. I really do appreciate you watching. Make sure you give me a like and the subscribe button gets hit so that you can be notified of future videos that I'm making. And also remember that if you are interested in any of my courses, including my free course about how to create online courses using Thinkific, make sure you check out the links below. So until the next video, I'll see you then.